So my article is titled Test Anxiety, Prevalence, Effects, and Interventions for Elementary School Students. It is a James Madison undergraduate research journal. So let's begin. I included my APA citation, and let's go on to the research question design. So the research question the author presented was, how does feeling anxious about tests affect how well elementary school students do in school, and what can help them feel less anxious? For the research design part of it, the participants were, of course, the elementary school students, and the data collection methods were the author used surveys. So, for example, asking a group of students to raise their hand if they feel some sort of way or how certain things make them feel. The author also is assumed that she conducted interviews with the students one-on-one or in a group, probably more likely one-on-one. It's likely she also interviewed parents as well and asked them questions about how they feel their student child reacts, because obviously parents know their children the best and they can tell how certain things affects their behavior and emotional state. And the author also observed classroom behaviors, like how students would react before a test as opposed to after, and also during is a big factor. And because a lot of, especially elementary school students, wear their emotions on the outside of them, so it becomes very apparent when students feel anxious and or nervous. The intervention study, this was a part of the research design. The author used different intervention methods while measuring anxiety levels. For example, the author discusses relaxation techniques and practice tests. Relaxation techniques such as breathing and positive words of affirmation. Practice tests. Clearly I have something else on my mind. Practice tests help the student feel more prepared and more prepared for the material on the exam, and gave the student a sense of ease. The author also measured the effects, these techniques, the way they affected students' anxiety levels and the performance over time. And as far as data analysis goes, the author used statistical methods to analyze the data along with the analysis for the qualitative data, because in a research like this, I think the qualitative data speaks louder volumes than the quantitative. So yeah, let's go on to the next thing. Data collection method. So although throughout in this article the author did not explicitly state her she didn't directly state what her specific data collection method was, she likely used a combination of both qualitative and quantitative, like I said in the previous slide. And they likely took surveys amongst the students. So, like I said earlier, it's likely the students would raise their hand if they agreed or felt some sort of way. The author probably observed the students, like I also said, talked with them and with parents. All of this was already stated. So the summary of the article and the take-home message was the article discusses how elementary school students feel anxious about tests, which can hurt their school performance. The message the author is trying to convey is that using simple strategies like relaxation techniques and support from teachers helps kids feel less anxious when it comes test time. Support from teachers is a big one I haven't really harped on yet, but support from teachers is likely the most determining factor of test anxiety. If a teacher, especially on young children, elementary level children, can make or break how a student would feel about taking an exam. There are many examples that she included, like having a teacher that students perceive as too strict or not empathetic towards how they feel, and not implementing certain strategies like the ones that I just discussed. Why are these findings important? These findings are important because it affects students' long-term outlook on exams and how students view school in general. And if they feel negatively about exams, they will not be likely to perform as well. Okay. So 3 questions. A first question I could ask is, what role do parents play in reducing test anxiety? Because it's obvious that parents are important when it comes to student test anxiety, but what specific role should they play, and how overbearing, or how to avoid to be overbearing when it comes to stuff like that? And what are ways teachers can create a less stressful environment for students? So, like I just stated, it's very obvious that teachers play an important role with test anxiety, but what are specific ways teachers can create a less stressful environment for students? And the third question, what are the long-term effects of test anxiety if not addressed? Like I already stated, it's obvious that there are long-term effects of having test anxiety, but what specifically would be the long-term effects, and how does that play a role in life outside of school? And how can it affect their self-esteem overall? I feel like those are all factors that could go into early on test anxiety with elementary students. And that is all for my article presentation.